Hey there, this is Granison Shines. No voice, no power. The study of power, how to get it, and what happens when you get it. So I've identified 8 P's of power, and what I try to do is make sure I make it easy for you to follow me and understand. So I looked at the different words, the different types of power that we have in our society, in our environment, and I narrowed it down to 8 different areas. And so I'm going to share those areas with you today. So a lot of people said they've been waiting on me to produce this and give this information out. So here we go. A little bit different type of video today, but you'll see my screen slides for sure. So let me define what power is first, just to give you kind of the understanding, making sure that we all understand the ability to influence or control the behavior of people, the ability to do or act, capability of doing or accomplishing something. Okay, and then I have my little quotes. I think of, based on my observation, I think of these little quotes for you. So the consciousness of power is awakened first by the observation of a reaction to your action, meaning that when we first observe power, first observance of power is introduced to us by something that we do, and there's a reaction to it, and it can be positive, negative. But even a kid, and adults, young adults, start to understand how they have this particular power over people, or with people, or influence with people. So that's the definition of power with my little quote. So now let's talk about the 8 different areas, and I'll also expound on these a little bit, and then I'll take these one at a time in a different video. So then there'll be 8 follow-up videos at a minimum based on this little diagram I have here. So there's personal power, you have patron power, there's priestly power or religious power, there's the professional power, there's political power, there's parental power, there's progeny power, explain that a little bit more also, and then there's purchasing power. So power in and of itself is encompassed with these 8 things that I have identified. So let me tell you what we have here in terms of what each one is responsible for. So personal power is the power within yourself, spirit, soul, body. I did another video, one of my first videos, I talked about how you're tripartite in nature, and I will be expounding on that video for sure, because even since then, this is my 6 weeks into this, I found a lot more about it. And so just like your body has 5 components, taste, hear, smell, see, right? Well, the spirit has 7 parts, the soul has 5 parts, and I'll be diving into those in a total separate manner, I should say. Number 2 is patron power. The power that you have over friends, family, those sorts of things, right? So patron power is something that if you ever had any friend for a long period of time, you understand that you have a certain amount of power over them, and they have a certain amount of power over you. And that can be manipulated, that can be used for a good cause and or bad cause. Let me put it in those 2 brackets and categories, and understanding that patron power is something that you definitely have with friends. Number 2 is priestly power, religious power. Pope Francis is in office now, and he is probably the most powerful religious man on the planet of the earth that's walking now, I should say. And he ascended to that power, which I'll get into a little bit later on in a different video, but he ascended into that power. But so religious power is very strong. We have some real big mega churches and other types of denominations within our society, and that's all over the world. So religious power, priestly power, I've called it priestly power, just trying to keep it with P's, is very powerful in people's lives. Then you have professional power, the power among co-workers and colleagues, whether those are direct subordinates or those who you have a responsibility to from an upper level management standpoint. But you have professional power, and you can ascend to a professional power, and the professional power can be created by creating your own position or a business and things, and those sorts of nuances in terms of professional power. Have political power. They say the most powerful man of the free world is President Obama at this moment, 2014, when I'm making this video. Political power is power within a political party and its members and or constituents. So understanding that political power, we see a lot of political power. We see how political power is at times, not all the time, superimposed or in conjunction with, connected to professional power. There are some people in political arenas that talk with other big business people that do not have a political agenda, but they have professional power. Then number 6, parental power. This is the natural power of parents over the children. You ascend to this power naturally because you now have a subordinate or a little one that you have to raise, and you have the power to do, mold, shape. There's a tremendous amount of power that comes with being a parent and or exercising of that power, but a lot of people don't know how to walk in it successfully. I mean, let's just see it for what it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this society as we have it right now. Number 7, progeny power. Excuse me, progeny, the power of children have over their parents and siblings. I was explaining to one of my daughters that she had a little issue with her little sister, and I said, "Look, you have natural prodigy power by way of birth rank and order over this little one. Here's what you have to do." Now she has to learn how to walk in that and learn how to negotiate it. But I also see that when children have the power of their parents, because we do love them and or because we don't love them, that children have a certain power over their parents. But more so when it's integrated with something like love, care, and you want the best for the kid, then a lot of times the kid understands that they have this power and they learn how to manipulate it and or abuse it. And number 8 is purchasing power, the power of money to buy things desired and or needed. You've seen people who have a lot of purchasing power. There's one famous boxer walks around with a bag. I think they say he has $1.5 million in his bag, and the purchasing power is not a problem. So this is all in conjunction to answer: does power equal money, or does money equal power? And in any one of these areas, not necessarily saying that you have money and power and even sex working in these areas, but at the same time, when you have the power, you have access to money. What I've observed thus far, you have access to money and you have access to sex and an abundance of those other two. So if you have a lot of power, guess what? The other two can come also in abundance. Another topic for another observation topic, but I wanted to make sure I share this with you because these are the 8 levels or 8 sections of power, types of power that I've identified. Some people say, well, what about society power? Well, for me, society has a power, but all this is encompassed with society. If you talk about social, society, social network, you have friends, colleagues, children, parents that you're connected to. So that's all our society. So when you talk about society, the effect, the power that society has over people, I think that it's encompassed with each and every one of these 8 here when you talk about society as a whole. So I wanted to make sure I identify each one of these 8 types of power, the 8 P's of power, and I will be taking each one of these and dissecting it into its own video later on. All right, it's Granison Shines, no voice, no power.